Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamu alaikum. Today we are going to discuss another topic from Pakistani literature. It is a short story, the title of Nawabdin Electrician, and it is written by Daniyal Moeenuddin. Now this is a very interesting story. It is interesting in a sense that it portrays two different classes of society that are very much prevalent in Pakistani society. Plus, it gives you the perspectives or the views of both classes, that is, the upper class as well as the middle class. And how is the tension between the upper and the middle class, or in fact, the lower middle class. So, plus, it also signifies the differences and the issues that are being faced by the lower classes of a Pakistani society. So Nawabdin is basically the protagonist of this short story, and he is working at the farms or at the lands of K.K. Haruni. Now he is in fact an electrician. This Nawabdin is basically an electrician, but beside doing the work of being an electrician, he does almost all of the works that are there on the farm. K.K. Haruni visits like once in a year or twice in a year to his land and just to see how things are going on. But Nawabdin is basically the in charge of everything. He runs from one point of his lands to the other points of his land to solve all the problems that are related to the electricity, that are related to the water, and so many other works as well. Now he is from the lower class. He has 13 children and he does his work on cycles. Then one day when K.K. Haruni comes, so he demands for a motorcycle and K.K. Haruni awards him a motorcycle. So when he awards him a motorcycle, while going to his home, this Nawabdin electrician, it is a midnight and he is robbed by a person who just shots fire at him. But some of the villagers come and the robber or the dacoit is caught, and both are being shot. Like the robber, he shots this Nawabdin, while the villagers and the other people, they shot the robber. So both are caught and then both are taken to the hospital where Nawabdin is saved, and the robber wants to be saved or to be forgiven by Nawabdin, but he does not forgive him. He does not give any sort of forgiveness or he does not have any sort of mercy on the robber. Now this is a short story. When you read it, you can get to the crux of what is being discussed and what is this short story all about. Now, coming to the analysis perspective, or coming to discuss what is in between the lines of this short story, what actually Daniyal wants to convey to us. So the first concept this short story portrays is that of Marxist approach. Now what is Marxist approach? In Marxist approach of capitalism, we see that there are two classes. One is the upper class, one is the lower class. The upper class dominates while the lower class is subjugated. The upper class has wealth, the lower class has services. The upper class exploits the lower class, and this is in fact the main theme of this short story as well, that the upper class, K.K. Haruni, he has nothing to do. He owns the land, he owns wealth, and everything is being done by this Nawabdin electrician, and he has 13 children to feed, and he has nothing to feed them because he is very much poor. Plus, look, this domination and subjugation, this leads to exploitation. And when K.K. Haruni exploits Nawabdin, the electrician, he tries to find so many other ways to exploit his master, but obviously they are illegal, and he tries to be a thief, or he tries to hide things which must not come into the perspective or into the view of K.K. Haruni. So this domination and exploitation, it leads to the illegal ways, and this creates the chaos in society, and that is very much prevalent in the society presented by Daniyal, or in general the society presented, or the society of Pakistan, where there are dominant classes, there are lower classes. The dominant classes, they dominate the subjugated classes or the lower classes, and then the lower class tries to exploit in an illegal way, which leads to chaos, which leads to unrest in the society and which are in fact hazardous for the lower classes. So this is the first perspective that is being discussed, and we can have so many other dimensions to this discussion or to this Marxist approach. Then related to this Marxist approach, there is a capitalist society. There is a capitalist approach as well. Now the capitalist approach, as we have discussed, it says that the problem is with the capitalism. Few people have the wealth and a lot of people do not have wealth. So what they do, that those lower classes or the people who belong to lower classes, they are always hand to mouth because they do not have resources, because they do not have wealth, because they do not have money. So what they do, they try to find illegal ways. Now just giving a sense of this capitalist society, why the person who is the robber, he tries to rob Nawabdin, because Nawabdin is actually moving from the lower to the middle class when he gets his motorcycle. So the person who is a robber, he tries to take the resources from Nawabdin, and this shows that the upper class has no impact. They enjoy the luxury of life, they enjoy the wealth, while the lower class, means Nawabdin, when he gets the motorcycle, he is being robbed and he is being shot down. So it means the two people, the robber and Nawabdin, they both are from the lower class and they are suffering and they are trying to quench the blood from one another. So this shows that the division of the capital between the society, when it is not in balance, it will always create chaos and unrest. And this will lead to the destruction of the society in terms of moral, in terms of ethical, and in terms of how do they live. Then, as I discussed it in the previous minute, that this society also gives a sense of how Pakistani society is moving ahead. Now look, people who have wealth, they are getting more and more wealth, and they are extremely away from the problems. They are aloof from the issues that are being faced by the other people. Why? Because they have wealth, they have every luxury, they have every resources at their palm. So when they are ill, they go to the best medical services. When they want to have a tour, they go to the West. So their life is totally different from the life of basically an actual Pakistani who belongs to the middle or the middle lower class. Nawabdin and robber, they are the greatest example of how people of Pakistan are. Why? Because they want good life, but for that good life they do not have resources. So what they do, they go for the other means. They go for the means which are not acceptable to the society. Nawabdin, he is not honest with his work because he wants to earn more, but he is not honest with his work. Now the robber, he's also doing something criminal. So this is basically the representation or the portrayal of the Pakistani society, where few have the wealth and the resources, and the major portion of the society do not have wealth or they do not have any resources. So what they do, to try to feed their own kids, to try to feed their own family, they go for the illegal means to earn and to survive. Then this domination, exploitation, this leads to alienation as well. Why? Because they are being alienated. The upper class has all the luxury. The lower class has nothing to survive for or nothing to survive with. So what happens? This will prompt them, this no resources, this no proper ways for survival will prompt the lower class to choose towards the wrong action. And this wrong action is what? It is basically corrupting the society, it is basically polluting the society, and it is basically endangering the life of thousands of people. Why? Because the person who is robbing Nawabdin, he can rob a number of people who are passing by that way or by that line. So this means he will rob someone, and the person who is being robbed, in terms, he will also do something illegal or something wrong. Why? Because in case of Nawabdin, he has only one motorcycle. If he would have been robbed, what would have he done? He would have tried to do something the same to catch back his motorcycle. So this is how the society is being corrupted. So the solution to this is that the wealth must be distributed in all. And if a Pakistani society, or if this Pakistani society wants to survive, wants to move ahead, wants to progress, people have to come forward and to see how the problem is being, how the problem can be solved. Why? Because wealth with few people and the major to starve, the major portion to starve for the wealth, and they are being starved down of hunger and they do not have any resources. This will create more and more problems for a society, and on the larger perspective for a nation, and then the nation can never go for the success and prosperity. I hope this is clear. If there is any question relating to this short story, you can put it in the comment box. Although there are so many other dimensions which we will try to cover in so many other lectures, the different dimensions to this short story, or in fact the post-colonial perspective. So till then, stay tuned and thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.